Okay, fantastic. We're back with the Aerial Yoga Play Program. This is Jen Healy. I'm here with my friend Serena, who is joining us for the teacher training. We're moving into level 2 of our training, which means we're going to focus more on strengthening the body. We're going to focus more on using the leg loops and handholds and really spending much more time in the upright positions. We did just a few little inversions last time, and inversions are going to be something that we would normally incorporate into our level 2. But we're just going to use those sparingly in our practice, and it's really a personal choice. The same with doing twists. And what else do we want to focus on avoiding? Obviously, any sort of pressure on the abdomen. So we're going to spread out the swing and show you some fun ways of using the swing. Can you think of anything else that?
Just often we go a little leg wide when doing anything to make room for baby.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anything to avoid that we want to mention again from last time?
You said twist, but just twisting like in towards the, like if you have a bent knee, you don't want to twist in towards it. You want to twist open.
Right, yeah. So no compression. We're working with expansion when using the swing. So we're going to go over the equipment and do a little bit of a review before we get started with some new teachings. So these are the AirX yoga swings. The AirX yoga swings are a blending of TRX and aerial yoga, which uses a hammock. So this is our swing that spreads out and it's super stretchy. It's a cotton lycra blend. Go ahead and follow along with me and make sure we're testing the equipment before we get started so we can play safe while having the maximum amount of fun. And then there's 2 handholds that are attached to the top carabiner, the same carabiner as the swing. And then we have 2 leg loops, and the leg loops also spread out. So it's a little bit of a different system. And sometimes if you're using other equipment, you're not going to be able to do the same moves. So just realize if you have something different at home that you're using, you might have to get creative and modify. And the AirX yoga swings are particularly made to be extra comfortable and sweet on the skin. So this is a cotton lycra blend, and it basically works with the fascia and the connective tissue in a different way than some of the other materials out there. So just be aware if you're doing something at home and it feels uncomfortable, it is because it's a completely different system. And so you can find out more about the swings at ayrxyogaswings.com or aerialyogarx.com. So just wanted to introduce that and go over that one more time because that's a common question. People are like, ouch, I'm using something else at home. There's a gazillion other pieces of equipment and I can't do that move. What should I do? And I'm like, well, get the equipment that's appropriate for the sport, right? Like if you try to play football with a soccer ball, or if you play soccer with a football, it's not going to go as well, even though they sometimes can be called the same thing. Like, it's a little confusing when we call soccer football. There's the Americanized version is a little bit different. So I would consider these swings somewhere in between aerial yoga and TRX. And you're going to see today we're going to do a lot more suspension training and strength training, which is similar to what people do with the TRX equipment. And that's just basically using either the leg loops or the handholds. And the main swing can be a support for the training being easier on the body, particularly with pregnancy. We want to be supportive and have the swing help us go into poses that might not be available to us otherwise. So we'll mix it up. We'll do a variety pack today, and then we'll have a nice long rest. So the cocooning is really the sweetness where you get in the swing and you're able to really allow yourself to just suspend and go into deep relaxation. So we really love this Shavasana in the swing. It's a bonus. Okay, you feel ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start with some shoulder sequences, some strength training. And this is when we use the swing in front of us and the leg loops in our hands. We're also gonna use no swing and just the leg loops in our hands after that, and we're going to be able to tell the difference or compare the difference. So this is where we're going to experiment again, and you might see us doing 2 different variations. What I'm going to do is push the swing down all the way so it touches the front of my legs, the top of my legs, and it's underneath the belly. And then we stand in the center of the mat. We make sure the mat is centered and we lean forward. Now, when we lean forward, there's going to be tension on the swing. So it's going to be below the belly. And then we can reach back and grab for the handholds, grab for the leg loops in our hands. We slide down the center. Okay, now we're going to just do this gentle swimming motion where we bring the arms up and then we bring them back down. Yeah, so I put them in your hands. Bunch them up so it's a nice strong grip because you're pressing and lifting your chest. So lift your head even higher. Yeah, like that. Yeah, and then the whole time the arms are working, right? So make a fist. There you go. Come out halfway and then up and then back down halfway. So we're really trying to lift our entire body with our arms. So come halfway for me here and press your arms down to, yes, like that. So they're really strong. And then when we get to the top here, we can do these tiny little pulses. So our gaze is always forward, right? It's always like a drishti at the horizon. Good. And then tiny little moves. Now we're going to come back up and we're going to show the other version where you can actually spread this out. And I want you to try both and tell me what you like. Okay. This is the first time Serena's doing this with me. So you can actually take the swing and slide it underneath the boobs. I would keep it underneath the boobs. And then it's going to bunch up, but see if you can pull it down to your hips. You have to press your hips forward the whole time to get it locked. Feet center of the mat. Walk the feet back. Yeah, like that. There you go. And now let's grab for the leg loops. It should feel a little bit easier and a little bit better on the belly, especially as the belly gets bigger, right? So let's try it again. So I'm really pressing down the whole time, really strong, straight arms out to the sides, lift the head, lift the chest, and then swim up overhead. So gaze forward at the horizon the entire time, and then out wide. Good. So you can tell this is the strengthening training, right? Yeah. You can be really lax in this and let your body drop, but that's not the sequence. That's not what we're going for here. We're pressing down strongly the whole time, keeping the crown of the head pointed towards the sky as our gaze is forward and our arms are working. How's that feel?
This is more comfortable.
Do you like this better?
Yeah.
It should be easier. If you're a little bit on the earlier side, you can bunch it up. If you really need more support through the entire torso, I'd recommend spreading it out like we're doing here. Okay, so will you stay on this one and I'm going to do the other variation so people can see the two? Perfect. Yeah, and feel free to do some of the exercises in one position, and then when we get to some other positions, you might actually just want to change it, which is totally fine to go back and forth. You might just need to pause and come on out. Okay, so then we get up top and then we pulse, pressing down strongly, pulse, so gaze forward the whole time. Pulse, yeah, pulse, yeah, so the head stays above the arms. You don't ever want the head to drop too low. Pulse, good, pulse. Okay, then we come into push-ups. So directly under the shoulder, elbows are wide, directly under the shoulders, and then we do the same thing where we pulse, stay lifted, press straight down, pulse. So we get our push-ups. We do our arm presses, and then we'll move into some pull-ups when we get into the TRX moves. So we're getting all the muscle groups in the arms with this sequence. Yeah, pressing nice and strong. How does that feel?
Feels good.
Yeah, and it's nice to have the support because we want to do more repetitions instead of just only being 5 and being burnout, right? Yeah. That looks great. Good alignment. I could see in the video too. Okay, good. Just checking in. Then what we're going to do is there's a couple different variations. If you need a little break, we're going to put the leg loops on the shoulders. I call it airplane wings. It's like a backpack, right? And then we're going to go ahead and bend from side to side and just take a little pause there. If you ever need a break, can you see how the weight's more supported? That feels pretty good, right? Yep. It's more relaxation. Now we're going to see how this goes because we might actually have to bunch this back up. If for those that have it across the hips and it does ride up, you can just press your arms and lift one leg and lift the other leg. So we're going to come into some deep dives, right? You might only come down halfway. So we're going to bring our arms all the way up overhead on an inhale. Exhale, see how far down you can bend and bring the crown of the head towards the floor or just come halfway. There you go. Inhale all the way up. Arms straight the whole time. Make a fist with your hands and really grip. And then exhale, dive in. Just as far as it feels good. Inhale, lift, use your back. Yeah, there you How's that feeling?
That's good.
Exhale, lower. Good. Yeah. Inhale, lift. Press, 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 press. Exhale, come on down. So these are called deep dives. You use your arms the whole time. So you lift, lift, and press. So when you're here, press down, press, press, press. Yes, like that. There you go. It's a little bit different. Because I can see you're using like a little bit of oomph with your back, but I want you to really push your arms down towards the ground, even when they're wide, and then come on up, and then you'll really feel it. Okay, good. Come on out about halfway. Come through like a push-up position, and then bend the elbows, and then they're going to go in the elbow creases. You can walk your feet back a little bit more so you have some space, just because we have the furniture there. Okay, good. So this is called an elbow hang. So make a fist and flex, like you're showing off your muscles, right? Yeah, like that. See, like this. Bring your fist. Yes, there you go. So we call it flexed instead of like this, because this closes the shoulders. So we stay flexed. We're in our elbow hang, and we can do this gentle rocking from side to side. Is that okay on the belly? Yep. Okay, good. So we might have to do the other variation here where we bunch the swing up to come into archer. But before we get there, standing in the center of the mat, coming back to center, we're going to inhale, look up, and squeeze the leg loops up onto the shoulders. That's it. Exhale, come on back down, nice and slow to elbow hang. So what we're doing is we're actually stretching that fascia along the biceps as it slides up, right? We're also learning how to lift through the chest, because if you keep your head down here and you try to squeeze, see how it's hard to move? There's not a whole lot of room. We have to lift the chest, squeeze the arms out in front of us into a diagonal, and then we can, get the arms to touch. Good. Exhale, lower. Doing great. Lots of arms right now. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, lower. Okay, so watch with the next one. We're probably going to have to bunch it up, or what we can do here is just do a variation. So you walk your feet to the back of the mat. So just try bending your knees, right, and lifting your feet towards your bum. See if that picks up. Use the back leg. You have to lean forward more to bring. Yeah, there you go. So if your head's not pointing down, then you can't lift your legs up, right?
Yeah, it feels like I need to have the belly bunched
more.
more.
So this is good too. This is why we're experimenting. This is a nice variation if you don't feel comfortable hooking the feet. And then if the swing is bunched up at the hips, then this is called archer, where we hook the feet on the outside. Okay, so let's come up and try to bunch it up, and we'll switch. So walk all the way to the front of the mat, press, 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 and lift. Press and lift, press and lift, squeeze. Okay. Skip the little steps there, but we'll do it again. The leg loops have tension on them the whole time, so they hold the body weight, so that way we're not straining the back, right? Okay, so I'm going to spread it out, and you're going to bunch it up. So Serena's going to push the string down to the top of the legs, right, and then come forward. I'm going to do the one just so I can feel what it feels like, where I actually let the swing spread out. So I'm going to let it come all the way up to below my chest. We're in like real-time experiment mode here for our pregnant friends. Awesome. Yeah, that looks good. It kind of has a nice hook for the belly. So we get back into the elbow hook, flex. Walk the feet back, walk the feet back, walk the feet back. Yeah, in this position, it is nice to just use the ledge. And then,
and you have a ledge.
Yeah, go ahead and hook your feet outside. Yeah, for those that have it spread out, it's going to be more just like bend the knees and hang. There we go. Yeah, outside in, the other way. Yeah, so we'll always hook outside in, because then it's actually locked. Really good. So archer is, the last pose is always the most advanced position in the sequence. So then you can always skip it if getting the swing all the way down and having the weight at the top of the legs feels uncomfortable. Does that feel comfortable for you? Yeah. Okay, good. And in the same way we arch, stay flexed. Good. Hands by the ears. Yeah, like that. There we go. Beautiful. And then we usually come after a Superman if you want to have some fun with it. Arms straight, legs straight. Lift the chest, press your arms down. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, and then touch down, walk forward, squeeze the arms together, squeeze to come up. There you go, squeeze. Perfect. All right, so that's our number 9 sequence. I'm just gonna put the number 8 sequence, shoulders, for the shoulder strengthening. So we had the mini push-ups, the wide swim, the pulse, the deep dive, and then we round up going into our elbow hang, and then archer is kind of the bonus pose. Only do archer if you feel comfortable getting the swing nice and low. It doesn't work out as well when it was spread out, but you did a really good job of lifting your knees. That was hard. I tried it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to try a similar sequence without the swing supporting us. This is obviously going to be a bigger strength training than the one we just did, because the swing holding our weight and supporting us is really helping the arms. So let's try this one and see how it goes. We're going to stand in the center of the mat. Let's just go ahead and start with our push-up position. And we might only do 5 of these, but I will show you guys some variations. Let me go ahead and tilt this up a little bit more. Let's see a little bit better. I'll actually index that video. Do the next one. Okay, great. So we're gonna start with the leg loops in our hands, standing in the center of the mat. Let's do the easier version first. Since our arms are already kind of worked, we're gonna step 1 foot forward into a lunge. Let's go ahead and step our left foot forward. Yeah. Okay, now we're up on the back toes, right? So step forward all the way. Keep tension on the leg loops. Bring them overhead, right? And then you can pulse, right? So you can bend the front knee and then press. Yeah, so step back with your back foot even more. All the way back, yeah. Until when you bend your knee is tracking over there. Good. So then we press and lift. So let's inhale, bring the arms forward. Exhale, start to push them down and lift. So these are the same thing as our presses that we did before, right? Okay, so let's just start out with something a little bit easier. And then if we want to do the fancy ones, we're going to press and lift the leg up, which engages the core a little bit more. So we're only going to do a little bit of...
Yeah, that's a little much for me.
That's a little much. So we're only going to do a little... That was the other thing that we were going to avoid, was a lot of core strengthening. That's right. I knew there was one more.
I tried it though.
You're like, ah!
I'm like, ooh.
Plus, it really requires a lot of stabilizing, right? So there's a lot of balance and strength involved in these. Let's go ahead and step forward all the way with our right foot. That means you might have to slide your left foot back some more in order to fit, right? Good. And then arms out in front of you. Press and straighten the legs. Press straight down. Go ahead and inhale. Bring your arms up. So we're looking up and towards the horizon the entire time, and then we press. So if we're looking up, typically that means the crown of the head is pointing towards the sky. If you're looking down, that means the crown of the head is usually pointing forward, right? So that keeps the alignment, and that makes it more honest for lifting the chest. For those that feel like they want a little bit more core activation, you can lift that leg when you press. It's actually really hard.
Yeah.
It's like, what? But that's what we do in our advanced training. So this is level 2 with the prenatal. So only do these if you're really feeling up for this kind of deep strengthening of the arms. It's important to keep the arms and legs nice and strong during the pregnancy, obviously, to support the body weight. Okay, back into push-up position. We're gonna have our feet in the center of the mat, hands gripping strongly, and then we come forward with our chest, come forward with our hips. Yep, bring the hips. Yeah, and then press, come on up, and then come on back down. Hands stay straight underneath the shoulders the whole time. So press and lift. Press and lift. You can tell without the swing is a lot harder, right?
Yeah.
Maybe only do 5. Keep pulling the energy towards the center line. It's really important that the arms don't go too wide when you press. That's how you create more stability. Okay, good. Well, you can see that those are a lot harder. You can bring the leg loops up a little bit higher for that, for it to be easier. When they're down lower, it actually makes it harder, right? Because then you're up higher in general. So from there, let's go ahead and just do some more of the lunges. So typically what I do is I like to do the lunges pulsed out in front of us. And then I like to do the lunges wide, and then we can come into some twists here, right? So we're doing twists, just really gentle. That is our modification for our pregnant friends. Okay. Now, if we were going to do the harder ones, we would go ahead and press when we're wide as well. So let's just try those. It's a little bit harder to do without the swing, and then we're going to swim it out. So we pulse in front, and then what we're going to do is do the similar movement to our shoulder sequence where we're going to come down and then press. So just add those two movements together that we did before. Press and then come wide. Good. And press, that's it. Good. Tension on the leg loops the whole time. Okay, great. So once we come forward, then we'll press back up, because if you're wide and you try to press up, it's really hard to come back.
Yeah, I had a hard time coming back down.
It's like, so arms forward and then press down and then step back. The arms forward.
Yeah, that made it easier.
Yeah, with the arms wide, it's really hard. With the arms forward, it's actually a little bit easier. So step forward if you need to, you can come here. But if you're wanting to do the more advanced version, step forward with the legs wide, with the arms wide. Okay, and then we're just gonna do some gentle twists. I'm really pushing down the entire time with my arms. If your leg loops get a little saggy, that means the arms aren't actually working. We want to make sure that we're pressing down the entire time. It works for the underbelly of the arm, I call it, that flaggy part, that part that gets loose with age. All right, and then we're going to come to center, and we're going to press straight down. And then lunge, press, press, press to come up. Lunge, yeah, keep looking forward the whole time. Find your drishti at the horizon. Press, 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 press. Good. Okay, and the last one is we're gonna come up, center, lower, start to come wide as we straighten, and then as we lower to center, just marrying those two movements and then come wide. There is a version where we actually press up and lift the leg, but we're gonna skip that one. Lifting the leg is counterintuitive for taking it easy on the belly. So we did our core strengthening just by lifting our legs when we did our basic, and that was enough. Okay, and then press back when you're ready. You can press back with wide arms or arms overhead to make it a little easier. Okay, let's come into a wide straddle. And now we're going to come more into a forward fold. We're going to drop into the elbows again. We always stay flexed. Yeah, nice and strong. That protects the shoulder joint. And then we're going to shoot the tailbone out behind us, crown of the head forward. Gaze is slightly above the mat. Press the hips back, right? Turn the heels out, toes in. And in this wide straddle, it looks similar to the forward folds we did before, but now we're just using the leg loops in our hands. There's a little bit more play. And we're tracing the shape of the mat with our gaze. So it's more of a semicircular movement than just a regular side to side. And of course, we can do lots of different variations from here. We're going to go ahead and bend the left knee, come out to the side, back through center bend, the right knee. Yeah, just seeing how that feels. Gentle lunge with a twist. Only go as far as your belly allows. How does that feel, Serena? What do you notice?
Yeah, it feels like I can do it, but if I was bigger, then I wouldn't be able to bend my knee as far.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So only go as far as it feels good in these poses. And then this is another one that we could modify if we need, but from the wide straddle, we lean forward. It's another arm strengthener into peppermint patty. And then sink back, lift your toes. Inhale, press forward, strong arms. So if you are feeling like doing the stronger one, you press the hips all the way forward. Otherwise, only rock about halfway. So that's the key. Go about halfway than you normally do in any of these poses if it feels like too much. Is that okay?
Yeah, flattening out would feel too much for me.
We don't really want to press the belly forward all the way, depending on which trimester you're in. You just to go about halfway so you're getting the arm strength. There's plenty of arm strength.
Oh, yeah.
Feel it. And then we are going to try a forward fold a little bit again. The knees can be bent here. We're always keeping the knees wide. we're gonna slide into a wrist wrap. Yeah, you can just bring the upper body down, they'll get tight. And this is the same thing, go as far as it feels good. And we're gonna skip clearance. So these are the modifications that we do for the prenatal. Usually the last pose, you can either skip or do some sort of variation. I'm just gonna show everyone at home what we normally do in the advanced training, but you're gonna stay there. You lean forward onto your toes, bring the feet together, and it looks like a plow pose. And then you slowly come all the way around.
Cool.
Yeah, so skip that one. When they're like, what's clearance? Because if you watch the other videos and you see that advanced move, then you'll be like wondering what's going on. So all you're gonna do is come on down and sit to the side, and we're gonna all wind up here with the leg loops in our hands. I like to rock my hips from side to side in order to get my tailbone back, and then we can come into a wide straddle. Beautiful. From the wide straddle, I'm gonna go ahead. This is similar to how we came down when we were in our child's pose in our floor sequence. So those kind of merge together. So it's just nice to be suspended where you have the leg loops in the hands. I like a wrist wrap where we wrap it around the wrist so the hands don't get as tired. And then we can also lean back, which feels really good. I usually like to bring the legs closer together. Top of the head, so chest lifts, top of the head towards the floor. And see if this works for you, Serena. We're gonna bend the right knee. We're gonna kick up and see if we can hook the heel. See if that works for you. Press up. Yeah, good. Now get both feet in there. I almost got it. Let's try again. You have to kind of kick up a little bit with the hips. Yes. So we're gonna get both feet in there and slide to the knees. There you go. Good. And then slowly, very gently lower yourself down. Her eyes got very big.
Okay, I have to just get my head down first.
Yeah, your shoulders.
And then shoulders down. Yeah. Otherwise, I felt like I was going to fall. So note to self for people at home, just get your head on the floor and you're fine.
Yeah, your shoulders is what we're going for. So there's usually less pressure on the head and more on the shoulders. Cool. So this is our variation of shoulder stand that we can come into to end. I like to have the palms facing up in a V. You can clasp them underneath you, but that's a more advanced choice. So just palms up in a V. And then we can practice lifting and lowering the hips as it feels good. So lift and straighten. And then lower. Lift and straighten. Is that feeling okay? Good. It's just so nice to just take pressure. So we're not doing any inversions today. Does this feel like too much of an inversion for you?
This feels okay.
Yeah. So this is a nice alternative to an inversion where you can just get the knees above the chest, which will drain any stagnation out of the lower body and also traction the lower back just very gently. Okay, and then the last version is the version of a burrito where we turn our toes out, straighten our legs, and then we pull the balls of the feet, the toes together. Where the swing is hooking the ball of the foot. Yeah, there you go. And then my hips are touching down. Your hips might be floating, just depending on where you are. And then we just gently rock the hips from side to side here. Just as a nice way to end that sequence on the floor. Good. And then if you just put your toes towards the sky, the swing will release. Okay, I'm going to index the video and come back with another round of what I call TRX moves, where we'll do some more strength training and then we'll do a full body hang. Then we'll be ready to get into a nice long Shavasana. I'll be right back with part 2 of our strength training.